Right then, Manchester United signed Champions League Varane in the summer, and we have since gone on to have one of our worst defensive runs in a long time. Clean sheets and Manchester United are just seemingly worlds apart, things that can't meet each other. So what's going wrong with Manchester United's defence? Our defensive issues and Varane aren't linear either, because he has, for the most part, performed very well and has arguably, if not comfortably, been our best defender this season so far. Luke Shaw and Harry Maguire have a European hangover. There's been regression from both of those players. Luke Shaw's hit nowhere near the heights that we saw from him last season. Harry Maguire seems to have had the same sort of slow start without the getting arrested in Mykonos sort of issue that we saw from him last season. And some players are heavily affected by the European competitions. We saw Jesse Lingard go to the World Cup in Russia in 2018 and basically never come back in terms of performance until it tipped up at West Ham a few weeks ago, or a few months ago in January. This isn't new. Harry Kane is someone that suffered every single time he's gone away with England for a major tournament. He's come and had injuries and performance issues on the backside of those tournaments. We haven't conceded that many at least, in any sense. And eye test wise, we have shown a couple of signs of vulnerability, I think it would be fair to say. We've only conceded 5 goals in 6 games. With an expected goals against of 6.7. If it wasn't for a couple of vintage De Gea saves so far this season, he does look like he's at the races, to be fair to him. The defensive statistics probably could have been looking a hell of a lot worse. Now, people often try to fix or figure out what the issue is defensively. When they try and figure out, they look at the back four. However, defending in football starts with the whole. The entire team, I believe at least, the entire team is involved in scoring goals and conceding goals. So I think you've got to look at the structure and you've got to look at the tactics of the entire side. Are the defensive midfield options that we're looking at? I mean, there's plenty of reasons why they're not the option, and they're not the reason they're one of the reasons why we're perhaps not as successful as we would like when it comes to ball progression. But are they also potentially an issue when it comes to protecting and screening what's behind them? Do we defend well enough from the front? Has the introduction of Cristiano meant that Manchester United no longer press as much as they used to under previous centre forwards? Are we a cohesive unit over just a collective of individuals? Are there principles of defending that we utilise as a football team that are non-negotiable? What are we doing on a football pitch to prevent? Are we conceding the same type of goal? Are we vulnerable in certain areas? Do we underestimate some of the lesser opposition that we come up against? What is the major issue? Now, I've got some stats here for you. United have got the worst tackle success rate against dribblers in the league this season with 31.6%. Only Crystal Palace have less tackles and interceptions combined than United this season. The fact we can't keep clean sheets heightens the pressure on our forwards, meaning that while we might go into each game 1-0 up because of Cristiano Ronaldo, we're also 1-1 because actually we're not going to keep a clean sheet today. So we come out of the blocks knowing that we've got to score 2 goals. That's not going to work for us. The injuries to Shaw and Maguire couldn't have come at a worse time. The Villarreal game this week, we're probably going to see a 75% change in Manchester United's back four. That's going to be tough for anyone to cope with. Champions League Varane's going to be there now with 3 new partners alongside him. Tellez and Dalot, I think, are probably capable stand-ins, but from a pure defensive point of view, they're not it. Lindelof's likely to be the one that comes in alongside him, but I can see an argument to be made for Eric Bailly to come in alongside him just because he's got that raw defensive capability that I don't think Lindelof has. And I think that's one of the issues in Lindelof's game is that he struggles with the actual defensive side of the game. I think he's quite good in possession, arguably one of the better players that we've got in possession as a defender. But defensively, one-to-one defending, It ain't him. And when you look at our tackle success this season, it's poor. Not necessarily because of Lindelof, it's just poor. United have got to fix this. And this is one of the reasons why you don't see players or clubs sign 6 or 7 players in one transfer window and then try to make them gel. It takes time. And for clubs like Manchester United that are involved in European competition, that are involved on multiple different fronts, having a settled team is one of the hardest things to get because you have to rotate. And some say, oh, he rotates too much. Some will say he rotates too less. You have to keep your peripheral players getting minutes so they are ready to be thrown into the fray. Now, we've seen Telles and Dalot basically for that one game. Now they're probably starting against Villarreal, who are an extremely tough team to beat. This is difficult. People go, we're Manchester United, we should beat those. It's not that simple. Football's way more complicated than some people try to explain it out to be. Way more complicated. The issue with the defence is one of the harder ones to fix. You can have the best personnel in the world, but if what's in front of that defence doesn't do it, then it's not going to work. Manchester United had one of the best defensive records under Jose Mourinho when it was Smalling and... no, it wasn't. It was under Louis, actually. We had a great defence under Louis when it was Smalling and Blind, and we had a great defence under Jose when I think it was Lindelof and Bailly. I think. I can't remember who it was for sure. Maybe Smalling was involved. Either way, there was certainly no Champions League Varane or Harry Maguire involved in that. Because Manchester United are now a bit more offense-footed, because we're trying to push Luke Shaw further forward, and even though you've got very much a defensive fullback in Wan-Bissaka, he's actually quite high in his positioning. You're left with your 2 centre-halves. That's why the number 6 position for Manchester United is such an important position for us. We have to get that signing correct. I don't think anyone in the academy is ready to come into the first team and just walk in there just yet. As much as I would love that to be the case, I just don't think it is. We haven't got the available personnel to be able to just throw into that lion's den and deal with that. So you have to go and find who that number 6 is going to be. Defence is a structure. Defence isn't about the 4 players who line up in defence. Particularly when the likes of Luke Shaw's average position, he's probably one of the 4th, maybe 5th highest position on the pitch when it comes to his average touch. So just because you're considered a defender doesn't necessarily mean you're a defender first in a lot of teams. And that can change. A right back in one team can be a defender and an attacker in another team. This is why, Stoke and Barcelona both used to play 4-3-3. Not willing to tell me that's the same sort of football, are you? There's differences with it. United's title charge this season, which it feels wrong saying that, to be honest, or calling it that right now. If you was to call it a title charge for United right now, they've got to fix the defence. The defence has to be levels better. Otherwise, we are going to struggle all day long. All day long. We are really going to struggle. But yeah, listen, I don't have... This is the reason why. Answer. It has to come as a structure. And sometimes it's just down to gelling. And sometimes, with all the will in the world, maybe a signing isn't going to work. Although I don't think that's going to be the case with Varane. I think he's been very good. I think he actually suits and he's exactly what United needed. But he's now probably exposing issues in other areas that we have to fix. That's what I think. You guys let me know what you think in the comments. We'll see you in the next one. Later. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, 5-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.